And women of color have experiences in other countries that influence their perspective on voting and electoral participation in this country. So they may have come from a place of great political turmoil where being political got you killed. And so there's a fear about participation.
The Filipino community is 65% foreign-born. So, I mean, I could see to some extent why it is that, you know, people are not necessarily gravitating to the electoral process or the political process, because a lot of the people who immigrated to the United States, say in the 70s and 80s, were people who lived under martial law in the Philippines. And so getting involved in the political process was a very risky business, to say the least. And people, I'm assuming, lost faith in the political process.
I hear from other women the reason why they are not involved in political issues is because, number one, the language barrier. Number two is something that we don't do most of the time. Number three is because the experience that we bring to these countries that are corrupt. And we see the here happening things too. So why should we believe that our vote is going to count? Is what they think. Also, the guys have a lot to do with us. Many of the men, especially if the woman is in the domestic violence or family violence situation, one would think that they say, why do you have to vote? You're not going to make any change. You are nothing. You think your vote counts? So there's many reasons that why the women don't vote. But mainly, it's because we don't trust governments.
Evacuation. More than 100,000 men, women, and children, all of Japanese ancestry, removed from their homes in the Pacific Coast states to wartime communities established in out-of-the-way places.
We got a notice from the government saying that you people are going to be evacuated. We will give you 3 weeks to get your things ready, and you only could take what you could carry on your back. And what are we going to do with the rest of the stuff? If you can't carry it on your back, leave it. So we left whatever we couldn't. We just took what we could carry. Everybody was in a daze. We didn't know what to do.
I believe that one reason that Japanese Americans were incarcerated during World War II is they were an easy target. This was an immigrant community for the large part. My mother's generation, many of them were too young to vote. They were a powerless and politically immature community. And that was one reason why it was so easy to single out this group and put them in concentration camps.
It was rumors, rumors flying around. And so it was rumored that if you have any pictures of people in Japan or your family's family, you should burn them, because the FBI, if they come in and search your place and find all those pictures from Japan, they're going to send you back to Japan. And so my mother had a big oil can barrel. All my the ancestors' pictures were all burnt in that.
I think the first time I really heard my mother kind of talking about the camp experience was when the movie Farewell to Manzanar came on TV. And she has since talked about it a little bit, but I think many people of her generation, the Nisei generation, were very traumatized by the experience and really were almost ashamed of having been put in concentration camps by their government. And so I think we were really raised subconsciously, I think, with the message that we had to be quiet and we had to kind of really trust our own people above the larger community, because it could happen to us again, and that we really needed to kind of be on our best behavior too.
Women generally having the eligibility to vote do not necessarily vote for several reasons. Number one, many of them feel that what is on the ballot is not going to affect them. And when you're in a state like California, for example, where we have the initiative and the referendum and all of those, and we take a look at our ballot and it's like 4 pages long, and it's got 15 initiatives on it, all in technical language that you don't understand, you just don't think that you have any right to vote for those. So you don't vote at all.
Many of our communities are driven by their daily needs and specific issues. Ballot initiatives can be very confusing. Federal elections can seem very distant from folks' day-to-day experiences. And so one of the things that we feel is critical is connecting the day-to-day issues, the things people most care about, with electoral work.
Chinese in general and women in particular are usually taught not to speak out. One of the ways that we have engaged them very successfully has been around education issues. I think parents see that as the great hope for their children to secure better lives. So we take advantage of that opportunity.
If you want to reach